Hi there, AJ here. Good to be with you today. You've probably experienced this as much as anybody. Often in life you're journeying down the road and you come to a bit of a fork in the road, a time in your life where you have to choose a particular path, and sometimes there's a couple of options that sit in front of you. It may be around a career path that you're making decisions about. It might be around a course, a university course, or a tertiary course that you're looking at as you come to the end of year 12. It could be around finances, restructuring your finances, or where to invest money, or what to do in the relation to a mortgage. It might be around relationships. Continuing on in relationships with a particular person, or maybe having a bit of a break. It could even be around deciding what church to attend if you're new to town. You come to these places in your life where there's a bit of a fork in the road. Now, all of us would love it at these times to have a bit of a crystal ball, or some sort of, sometimes people joke about getting an email or a text from God in these moments, but unfortunately it's not really quite like that. And I know that sometimes we can feel frustrated in these moments. We can, as we're trying to make decisions about which direction to take, we can feel sometimes angry or even lonely as we approach these sliding door moments in our life. And sometimes we find ourselves throwing our hands in the air and saying, I just don't know what to do. What do you want me to do, God, in this situation? Well, one of the things that I know that has been a great help to me over the years is the book of Proverbs, and I'm going to come to a verse in a minute that's been a great help. But I can remember a time in our family where we were trying to decide as a family which direction to take. That fork in the road was sitting in front of us, and we sought advice from people. We had long conversations as a family. We prayed about it. All those things were great, and at the end of the day for us, helped us come to that conclusion about travelling a particular path, and it worked out well for us. But there's a verse that has been helpful in Proverbs that in these moments that give us a peace when we're trying to make these decisions. And it's a verse that is well known. It's Proverbs 3, 5 and 6. It says, "Trust in the Lord with all your heart, and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways acknowledge him, and he will make your paths straight." I've been pondering on this verse over the last week in preparation for today, and I just can't help but think that this is a key verse for us in these moments to find peace. When we learn to trust God, when we learn to lean in on God, when we acknowledge him, or some translations say to submit to him, we find ourselves, there's a great peace that sits in there for us, and there's a humility that we have to come to realise that we need God in this moment, that God knows best for us. He knows the direction that we should be taking, and it's him that will give us, as the verse says here, making our ways straight, is to give us the clear direction forward. Now, of course, in life, when we make decisions, sometimes we do choose a wrong road. I remember as a young bloke, I went away on a camp with a bunch of teenagers, and we were in a part of the southwest of Australia, and it was a mountainous kind of area, and we had climbed up to the top of this mountain called Bluff Knoll, and we, as a group of young fellas, decided that we'd take a different way back. And I can remember going back down a path that was not well travelled, and we found ourselves right down in the deep in the crevice of this mountain behind where we should have been, and it became quite disorientated. And luckily, obviously at that moment we felt fearful, we felt alone, we were a bit concerned about the situation, but we were able to put our heads together and work a way out. We got our bearings and were able to get back on track and get home safely. But we all end up in those moments at those forks in the road where we do make a choice that doesn't always take us down the path that we would hope. And my encouragement to you today is that that's a perfect part of life. And when we in those moments push back into God, when we lean back into God, when we don't try and nut it out in our own understanding, that we try and, in the words of Paul when he speaks to the church at Rome, talks about the knowledge and the wisdom of God being unfathomable, then we can trust and we can believe that God is there for us, and He will lead and He will guide us in that moment. So, my encouragement, particularly in this time of lockdown, that when we're trying to make decisions on coming out of lockdown, when we're trying to make decisions of who we socialise with, where we hang with people, that God would just give us that direction, that as we lean in on Him, when we trust Him, that He will guide and lead us. I hope that's an encouragement to you today. It's great to have been with you, and God bless. Have a great rest of the day, and we'll speak to you soon. Bye.